There's a Japanese saying that goes, if you're on the wrong train, get off at the nearest station. Because the longer you stay on that train, the more expensive that return trip becomes. So the thing is, this actually applies to far more than just travel. See, the idea is simple. If you realize early on that you're going the wrong way, it costs very little to get off, reassess, and change direction. But if you stay on out of pride, habit, or just plain denial, then ultimately, you don't just lose time, you accumulate damage. See, the lesson isn't about making perfect choices. It's about recognizing when a choice no longer fits. See, most people don't stay on the wrong path because they don't know. They stay on because of attachment. Like, oh, I've already invested too much, or I don't want to look like a failure, or I should be able to just push through. But discipline and stubbornness, they're very different things. Discipline listens. Stubbornness doubles down. And the problem is, in life, doubling down doesn't build character, I can tell you that. It builds resentment. And this shows up constantly in fitness. Training through pain, not constructive. Sticking to routines that just drain you. Chasing intensity when what you really need is consistency. This is why in my FMS training system, everything scales. Rocking can be lighter, it can be shorter, it can even be slower. Body weight movements can regress or progress, and recovery isn't quitting, it's recalibrating. See, getting off the wrong train doesn't mean stopping, it means choosing a better route. The longer you ignore misalignment, the more it costs. Injuries take longer to heal. Burnout takes longer to reverse. Motivation simply erodes. See, early course correction is quiet. Late correction, yeah, that's painful. And the strongest people aren't the people who never change course. They're the ones who do it early and without drama. This session isn't about quitting. It's about clarity. If something no longer fits, adjust. If the direction feels wrong, step off. If you know better now, act on it. The nearest station is always cheaper than the very last one. Now, you might remember in our first MRT session, we talked about maintenance being cheaper than repair. So essentially, preventative measures. Now, we're talking about much farther down the track, when prevention is no longer an option. See, the train analogy is just like in the military. They have the OODA loop, so that is observe, orientate, decide, and act. Loop through if needed. So, you observe the fact that you're on the wrong train. You orientate, you find where the next stop is. You then decide whether you're getting off now or not. And most importantly, you act. You take action, because guess what? That return trip is accumulating the longer you leave it, the longer you don't do what you know you gotta do. But anyway, I hope this has given you food for thought. Maybe there's something in your life that you need to do a little course correction on, but ultimately, my recommendation, get off at the next stop. I'll see you in the next one.